Everyone knows that there's something seriously wrong with our species. All we have to do is pick up any history book or newspaper or turn the news on any TV or radio station, and it soon becomes painfully obvious that there's something wrong with us. In fact, most of us have been told that it's just part of our nature, it's part of our DNA. That man has a propensity for evil, nothing we can do about it. I disagree with that completely, but for now, let's put that aside. Let's forget whether or not we're doing something that creates it or whether it's just part of our nature. The fact remains that we all know something's wrong with us. And isn't it odd that we still put so much trust and faith in all these systems that are supposed to take care of us, and yet we know we're not to be trusted. And yet we rely and we trust these systems. And the wind was blowing straight at me, and I'm hoping it won't be noisy. I'm kind of curious to see how this turns out. Kind of a wind experiment. Still haven't got a windscreen for this, sorry guys. But as long as it doesn't come from the side, I think we're okay. Back to the point. We know there's something wrong with us, and yet we don't think twice about running to the doctor when we get sick. For the simple fact, that's what we've done ever since we're so high. That's right. When we were in our mother's womb, we was running to the doctor. You got a medical condition. You're pregnant. Sad day when the system in charge started looking at pregnancy as a disease. We put trust and faith and we rely on these people. And yet we know there's something wrong with us. Oh, but not everyone is bad, and that's a good point. In fact, you always have that thrown at you saying, oh, well, what you say isn't true because look at these people. Yeah, it's tough for the average person, isn't it? They don't teach us critical thinking skills in school. History is nothing but bunk to keep us from really understanding what's going to happen, what's been going on, so it keeps repeating itself. Powers that be only control everything that brainwashes us and makes us think and do the things we do. They're able to convince all of us that if you get sick, you got to go to someone else and take some sort of poison, and that's supposed to be the answer. Why is it, folks? Why do we prey upon ourselves? Do you really think it's part of our nature? Do you really think it's part of our DNA? It's just a flaw? And if that's what you think, then why is it, tell me, why is it every culture on this planet says it wasn't that way always? We had a golden age at one time. We didn't have this other evil nature to us that goes beyond the predation and other horrible things we see on this planet. There was a fall. We did something. And the powers that be have controlled all the belief systems and thought systems that try to keep us from taking responsibility. What you have to do, my friends, is question every belief that takes away your responsibility. If someone tells you you are born a sin, that takes away your responsibility, and I know that's good news for some of you people, because now you got an excuse for doing something bad. The devil made you do it. It's a serpent in your belly. Yeah. Aren't belief systems tricky? Real easy to embrace a lot of belief systems and be totally unaware that the powers that be have come in and changed a few things around so you'll never figure out how to take responsibility. Take the last dozen or so videos I've done, trying to help you guys understand the fall of mankind, the mistake we're making in the second stage of knowledge. And what does 90% of the people do who oppose me? They go running up to something before the first of the second stage. Remember, there's 2 boxes and 4 portals before the second stage. There's 62 pieces that come before the second stage. What am I talking about? Go to the Ultimate Solution playlist, 11-part video series. I describe all the 281 pieces I described in the Ultimate Schematic. Check out the Ultimate Schematic. It shows you what I'm talking about. That the fall of mankind is piece 95. That is cooking our food. And people try to scream and say, no, John, it's our intentions, it's our thoughts. It's piece 28. No, John, it's the angels, it's piece 30, it's part of the community. That's before what we did. And am I a broken record? Of course I am, because the fall of mankind happened in the past, but it's happening right now. And most people can't even differentiate between that. And what's the net effect? We know we're sick, but yet we're so stupid. We get tricked into going to people that are going to keep us sick. It's how the world works. That's why my message is twofold. We got to understand how to be healthy. We got to understand health. We got to understand how the world works. Because the way it works is to keep us sick. You see the connection? I do. And I know a lot of you struggle. A lot of you don't think that cooking is bad because you're eating cooked food and you're a good guy. It can't be evil. I ate cooked food my whole life. I was a great guy. Isn't it funny how we want to protect ourselves? Well, I'm going to explain it to you guys one more time. I've only mentioned it, I don't know how many dozen times. All of our behavior can be represented in a bell-shaped graph. If you know anything about statistics, everything can be put in that bell-shaped graph. This is a bell of bad behavior. You know what a bell looks like. The Liberty Bell. Come on, it flares out at the end. And what this means is that the bulk of the people are in the middle of the bell. 96% of the people are in the middle of the bell. And then you got the little edge of the bell going off this way and the edge of the bell off that way. Got the saints on one end, the psychopaths on the other. Oh, look at the saints. They're eating cooked food. Cooking can't be evil. Look where most of us are at. And look at these guys over here. They're the psychopaths. And both sides are a reflection of us. We're going to have extremes. You can't use that as an excuse. The sad part of this is so many people that argue with me aren't putting any time in thinking things out themselves. They're not even trying to punch holes in their own ideas. Because if you do, it's pretty easy. I don't know. It's hard not to think an intelligent person doesn't have the potential to be a trim tab. I just feel challenged every day thinking, God, there's got to be a better way to say this. So I really appreciate some of you people out there who still want to go back to the first stage of knowledge and don't understand the second stage. I've been trying to explain it to you 1,000 times over and over, and it's helped me tweak my presentation so I can make sure and say it so that I won't have to come back and say it again. If you go back and watch the last half a dozen videos especially, I talk about the 3 stages of knowledge. And again, if you go to the Ultimate Schematic, this is all about 3 stages of knowledge. We have to take responsibility in the second stage. We got to stop being tricked and going and realizing what's up at the first stage. And then we trust our experts that are in the third stage, or they're in between the second and third stage. They're in that piece 106. That's where conventional medicine is. And we trust them. And we shouldn't. Why? Because we're in hell. We're on the wrong path. All of our systems that are in charge are guilty of what's known in Latin as Mons Ponens. It's putting the cart before the horse for a problem within our control. Illnesses, ill behaviors, even the dark side of our behavior is within our control. And I know you struggle with that, and I can understand, because I grew up eating animals, I grew up eating cooked food, and I was a damn good guy. And I know a lot of you guys are too. But it affects some worse than others. And some it doesn't affect at all. So you can't say, well, look at me, or look at them. You gotta go look at them, the psychopaths, man. That's what's keeping us here. That's the problem. Those of us in the middle of the bell can't relate to the edges of the bell. The ones on the clip close to the edges, they can relate. There's a lot of people who can relate to those psychopaths. They're right down there real close, aren't they? They're on the edge. And there's a lot of people who can relate to the ones that are saints. You guys are really doing good. But you have to understand, my friends, that no man is an island. We can't escape Plato's cave. What all of us do affects everyone, and that's what a lot of us just have never really come to understand. A lot of us don't see it. A lot of us don't think there's any connection to someone else suffering, because they don't feel it, they don't sense it. And yet it affects their whole world, and they're oblivious to it. I guess what I'm trying to get at here is there's got to be a way we can convince the skeptics to be skeptical of the people who are harming them. And you would think once someone's been there for 20, 30 years, they'd have figured it out by then. But God, that's a lot of suffering, isn't it? We need to figure out how to get to people before they even go to them. We need to let people see what they're missing. That's the problem on this planet. Most people don't know what they're missing. That's why they can't wrap their brain around this. That's why I know that there are really only 3 ways to correct 5 main mistakes. Go to the Ultimate Solution playlist and you can see what video I talk about those in. The 3 ways to correct 5 mistakes, 2 of them aren't doable by enough of us. It's just too overwhelming. That's why there's only one way. And that's a solid food vacation on juices. That's where we test an idea as time has come. That's why it's an idea. It's the only thing that can get everyone's attention. So, what do you say to someone when they think doctors are God? They did a pretty good job of convincing that to us, didn't they? Look what we've done. Our vaccines, modern medicine, we eradicate all these diseases. Bullshit. Look what modern medicine has done. We're living so much longer. Bullshit. In fact, the reason why we're living longer, the reason why those diseases went away, because those were diseases of filth. We figured it out. It wasn't modern medicine, it's modern plumbing. And there's nothing modern about that, because the same thing happens long ago, or happened long ago when the plumbing messed up. Look what happened in the Roman Empire. And in the West and the East, about 1,000 years apart, conquerors came in, did what all conquerors do. They read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, destroyed the infrastructure, the aqueducts and the sewage system, and what happened? The plague broke out. What's the reverse of that? The Industrial Revolution. We moved into cities. Didn't have the plumbing capacity to deal with that many people. And if we weren't eating the wrong food, it probably wouldn't have bothered us. But we're eating horrible food now. Our fecal matter is horrible. That was sort of an epiphany I had. I think it was around last year when I was doing one of my videos. I was thinking about Dr. Pottinger's cat study he did, where he fed the cats the raw food and the cooked food, and the cooked food cats had the same problems we had. Raw food cats had no problems. There you go. Illnesses, ill behaviors. But he took the waste matter, the manure from these cats, and you couldn't grow anything when the cats ate cooked food. What does that tell you? why we have all these diseases. We probably wouldn't even have those diseases of filth if our filth wasn't so pathetic, because our food is pathetic. And boy, we'll do anything to rationalize eating something we're addicted to. But everyone knows cooked food's not addicted, right? Yeah. Try giving it up, find out how addictive it is. I guarantee you're going to find out the addiction of cooked food when you give it up. That should tell you something. But the problem with addiction, we shut off our brain. That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. That's how you go to denial. Just don't let the brain work. It's easy. I can keep indulging what I want and put my blind faith in people who will never be able to solve your problems. I long for the day that people not only know that we're sick, or we were at one time, but we now know not to put our trust in people who don't know anything about health and have such a bad track record. And by that time, my friends, this world will be different. It will be a treat.